Hello, everyone, and welcome. You're listening to My Menopause Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Mache Seibel, and I'm also the founder of My Menopause magazine, which you can find in the Apple Newsstand. And if you're a woman who's interested in information about transitioning into and around menopause and aging, you're going to find that a very helpful tool. Well, today we are going to talk about something I think that's very important. It has to do with hormone balance, and we're going to focus a little bit today. Instead of the usual discussions about estrogens and progesterones, we may get to that, but we're going to talk a little bit about adrenal glands, stress and burnout, and things that many people can relate to. To do that, we're going to talk with someone who is certainly an expert on that. We're talking with Dr. Sara Gottfried. She is the author of The Hormone Cure, and it says that you can reclaim balance, sleep, sex drive, and vitality naturally with the Gottfried protocol. And just briefly about her, she's a Harvard-educated gynecologist who treats the root causes of health problems, not just the symptoms. So, Dr. Gottfried, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you, Dr. Seibel. So happy to be with you.
Now, you really have gone about treating things in a very interesting way. I love the way you do. I've been reading through your book. It's very well written, and that's The Hormone Cure. I think it's a nice blend of really putting some serious science together with not the usual approaches, but really a holistic approach, because you combine the traditional allopathic or Western medicine kind of stuff with a combination of yoga and a lot of meditation and a whole host of things. How'd you get started with this approach?
Well, you got it, Dr. Seibel. I mean, you and I were hanging out around Harvard Medical School around the same time, and I came to it mostly out of necessity. I was one of those stressed out moms, working hard, burning the candle at both ends in my 30s. And what I found was that as I struggled with PMS, with low sex drive, and I was practicing in what I would call McMedicine at the time, I think you know what that is. So I just felt too young to feel so old. And what I did was I went to my primary care physician, and I was offered an antidepressant. So at that time, it was Prozac. And I can tell you, it was a defining moment, because I realized that we are treating the problems that women face with exactly the wrong thing. Let's get to the root cause. So masking symptoms with the latest antidepressant, I don't think is going to get you a cure. But if you figure out the root cause of why you feel like crap, I think it really makes a big difference. I had a hunch at that time that my problem was my hormone. And it was spot on. What I discovered is that I had a problem with cortisol, estrogen, and thyroid. And when I got those fixed within 1 month, it just made a dramatic difference for me. And then I offered that to the next 10,000 patients that I took care of. And that's really what led to me writing The Hormone Cure.
You had a motivation which was very pressing, and that is you were both the doctor, but you were also a patient.
You got it. I mean, I don't think that collapsing in bed at the end of the day should be the new normal. I really think that we need to upgrade our expectations about what it's like as we get older, right? I mean, I'm sure you agree with this.
What's the first signs that people have?
Well, there's a number of important signs. I'll share with you some of the ones that I experienced back in my 30s. I'm 46 years young now, and when I was in my mid-30s, I had this feeling that I was constantly running from one task to the next. I felt a weird combination of being wired but tired. I also struggled with my sleep. It was hard for me to wind down. As I mentioned, I've got a couple of kids, and when they went to bed by about 8:30, 9 p.m., I would often feel the second wind. I would start checking my emails, and before I knew it was midnight, and I had to get up at 6. So I had a number of these symptoms that started to fit together. That's what it looked like for me.
I love the way you're phrasing things, and it's certainly making it easy to understand. Well, we've been talking with Dr. Sara Gottfried. Hope you'll check her book out. Again, it's The Hormone Cure. I'm your host, Dr. Mache Seibel. You've been listening to My Menopause Radio. Again, if you want to find other information related to menopause and the window of life and aging, go to My Menopause magazine in the Apple Newsstand. Remember, everyone, it's better to stay well than to get well. So stay well, everyone.
So sexy and sweet.